Pope Francis is getting some good press these days. It's early, but people seem to like what they see. A humble person, one who stresses God's mercy and forgiveness, and a real concern for those that he describes as on the margins or the edge of society. When I was watching some of the coverage of his visit to Rio de Janeiro for World Youth Day, I was struck by an interview a teenage boy gave who said, "I'm not Catholic, but I'm thinking of becoming one because of Pope Francis." Not always, but many, if not most times, when a person is inquiring about becoming Catholic, it's not the content of the faith that caught their interest. It was a person of faith that drew them. It was the person of faith's attitude and actions. They liked what they saw in that person and wanted to find the same foundation. While the content of faith is important, the first thing is not a what, but a who. Not a belief, but a believer. I've never heard someone tell me that it was the Nicene Creed that made them want to become Catholic. Rather, it was their spouse or their friend who made them have interest in the faith. Let's focus on belief, first as it's presented in the letter to the Hebrews, and then suggest how this approach might offer some insight on how we might respond to questions concerning belief today. The second reading describes faith as confident assurance concerning what we hope for and conviction about things we do not see. But then the unknown author goes on to talk about people. It was Abraham, it was Sarah, who went out on pure belief, pure faith, not knowing how the promise that was made to them would be fulfilled, how they would find the promised land and give birth to a new nation. The person who is searching needs to be exposed to you and me as people who believe. We may not be Abraham or Sarah, but we can be examples in our own limited way. Just a few examples. A believer with a terminal illness can face life with hope tempered by reality. More importantly, they can face death with a firm belief that it's not the end. These people don't have to talk about belief. They are believers, living examples of the difference Christ can make in their lives. Or another example might be a single parent, an individual struggling without benefit of a partner to raise his or her children. They are examples of people who, like Abraham and Sarah, are venturing forth with hope and courage, not really sure how it's all going to turn out. Or maybe a final example could be a teenager who has the courage of his or her convictions and chooses a moral good that might not be popular with the crowd. They are showing what their faith means to them. Perhaps this week, you and I can be a little more conscious of the message we're giving by our attitudes and actions. Are we bringing others closer to Christ, or giving them little or no reason to see what a difference faith makes in our everyday lives?